Hey there, YouTubers. Me again. I'm going to start today off with throttle bracket. I've got this thing from something, and I've got this thing from something, and then I've got a store-bought adaptable thingy. And so I got to figure out if any of these are usable, because let me bring you in here and you'll see why I'm wondering. This is what I'm working with. I've got this, right? And this is really stiff too. That's because it's hanging up on stuff, but I've got this, okay? And I'm supposed to hook to this, but that ain't gonna happen. So this is my cable, and I'm trying to hook to this, okay? I'm going to put this like so, and try it with the other hand so that you can see, but I'm going to try to put this here, and still get a full pedal out of it. So it's got to go somewhere around here-ish. The problem is this, okay? Everything I have kind of gets in the way. Okay? This needs to be here. So it's hard for me to show you because my hands get in the way, but it needs to be right about here-ish. So basically it has to stay in line with this. See, my square is there, so I need to be here somehow, some way, without being in the way of this. So now I can bolt to this bolt here, and that would put me right about where I need to be. So that might be an option if I use this. Lop a little bit of this junk off of here, and maybe we can go with that bolt there. Yeah, that might be an idea. I was looking at this, but everything I tried gets in the way, and then of course my throttle bracket's going to have to come in from this side. It'll come in from this side here. Otherwise I've got to try to find something that's going to come out and over here, which that's, I think that might be my best bet, is going with this bolt here. And this little bugger looks like it might work just right if I take a little material off of here. What do you think? So we cut some of this off of here, and maybe see if this, maybe put a spacer. I think that might work. So let's try that. Close your ears because this is going to be loud. That wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be. I had to put a spacer in it to get it to come up a little bit, because otherwise it looked like it was going to rub. It still may. Let's get this in here and see just how bad it's going to be. If at all bad. Kind of at a funky angle. Uh-oh. And we're not there. Oh, poopy doos. It's too far back. So this, how far do I gotta go? I need another inch or so. I wonder if the thickness of this would make it up. So if I welded this up here, got rid of this and put this up here, if that would do it. Or that would be nice too, because this is at a pretty pretty funky angle, but we're too short. So I need to get to here. So I think if I can either move this up here, which is going to be too far out. So we'd have to move it forward and back. And then I don't know if I'll be too far. Let me get some measuring tools and figure this out. Alright, let's see how far short I am. That was kind of perfect. But, oh well. I'm about, according to this, I'm about an inch short. That is about an inch. We could make that work. So if I move this to here, that would work. If I move it up to here, that's going to be way too far forward. So I think leave it where it is, but take this off. Do I have other options? Not really. Well, I don't know. Let me check out the Transdap dealie and see if that would make things work better. Now, if I put it here, actually I think it's supposed to go this way. I ain't gonna go there. And if I go this way, I don't know if I can make everything go the way it's supposed to go, and that's still too long. And maybe under here, going this now. So, nope, Transdap ain't gonna work. I mean, it's either way I'm cutting and modifying. So I think we're already this far. We know it works. It's good positioning. We just need to put this up here. So that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to go ahead and lock this off here, and then I'm going to move this piece to here. I might just leave this here for rigidity purposes, just do some clearancing. Yep, I think that's what we'll do. What do you think? Do you agree? Make this, this, and then just clearance. I think the positioning's good though. Looks very, very good actually. So yeah. Let's do that. Okay, we finally got this finished up, put a little paint job on it. Got my, it's not kinked real bad or anything. Everything seems to be working. Voila, 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 voila. I put a little hole here so I can go to the springage. So now I've got something to Springer back with. All of this should be fantastico. It's all tightened down and ready to go. The problem with all of this work is with the hood down, nobody's ever gonna notice. Nope. A lot of the things you do that take a bunch of time, nobody's ever gonna see it. But the good thing about YouTube is you get to see it. So, welcome to my channel if you haven't been on it forever or never, or this is your first time. And you get to see some of the intricate stuff. A lot of the stuff I was working on when none of y'all were looking, and I apologize, is I did do quite a bit. Camera. I put the radiator in. You may or may not recognize those radiator braces. Those used to be old school looms for wires, for your spark plug wires. They had little ears coming out of here. I took all that off of there, made radiator brackets out of them. I got my pulley system in. I did a whole video on that once before for the Corvette. It wasn't super popular, so I spared you all of that, but I bought some pulleys. They didn't line up. I had to space them. I made my own alternator bracket. I think I did air that. I'm not sure. I think I did, or at least it showed you what I was going to do. So that all came out pretty darn cool. There we go. Man, that's just real shaky. Okay. But anyway, this is the whole setup. There's your fuel filter regulator, because I have a Holley blue pump in there. And that's a little configuration of those fuel lines, which I did not show you. This is just a bent fuel line coming out of there. And that's the banjo fitting that I said I didn't like to use, because they usually leak. Now, the thing that I'm a little bit worried about, because we're getting ready to fire this baby up, is this. Take a look at that throttle. Not moving very much, right? This is not, it's not real good. I'd almost be willing to bet that the accelerator pumps in both of these carburetors are shot. The good thing about it is these are Holleys. You take these 4 screws off on each of the ones. You can take these front bowls right off, and you can service all of that and put it back together. So as long as the rear bowls aren't leaking, I can go ahead and service the front bowls without removing the carburetors, and that should get me on down the road. If it's not, if the rear barrels ain't working, let's try that in English. We can work on that later. But for right now, I want to get this running because I have to get it down to volunteer muffler and get the exhaust done. I still have to put my windshield wipers in, but I don't have to have that to go to the show. So we're saving that till the end. So this is pretty much, before I quit today, here's the whole baby right here. See if you can see if anything's missing. I'll give you a hint. You guessed it, the fan. So, I am going to make, and I have several different fans, and I'll show you what I got. I was going to buy one, but I'm too cheap. I have this one, which came out of the Corvette. So that'd be right at home with that engine. I have a couple of other ones over there. And those are all 5 blades, I believe. And then I have this bad boy. Now, I'm going to have to take this off of zoomage. There we go. That didn't bug your eyes out. Nothing will. You got one smaller one, one bigger one, but the two of them together are too big. So I'm going to give you 2 guesses what I'm going to do to make that work. And the first guess does not count. Before I go separating these 2 Siamese twins, I'm going to test it. I've got one lead hooked up to the negative, got the other lead hooked up to the positive. Now, if it turns backwards, this fan can either push or pull. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in now. There's another, this is where it originally plugged in. I'm back feeding it through where it was Siamesing with the other one. It should still work, but if not, we'll have to feed from here. But if it turns backwards, all we have to do is switch the leads, which shouldn't be a big deal. So here we go. Ready? Ooh, and that bad boy gets hot, because she's pulling a lot of juice. Okay, it is spinning backwards, I believe. Let's see if it's going that way. It's going to, well, let me try that again. I guess it's pulling. It feels like it's pulling. So that would actually be the correct way. Let's do this. Oop, I wonder if I lost a lead. Something went wrong. I hope it didn't just burn out. That would suck. Let me tell you a little story about bad jumper wires. They will give you a false reading every time. I started to look at other fans and other configurations. Started to cut gaskets to use a different fan that I wasn't really happy with because it was smaller. And then I decided, wait a minute, because these didn't work either, and I knew for a fact this one worked. So I said, let me try making some new jumper wires, and wouldn't you know it, now it's turning back. This says positive. To make it pull, this is positive, and that's negative. I had it hooked up backwards, which is going to make it run the wrong way. But now we are back to my original plan. So needless to say, I just wasted, I'm not even going to tell you how much time, but a lot. I am going to use a body saw, which I only have an air-operated one. It's not real noisy. Now I do have some mounting doodahs up here that I might use, so I'm going to keep that. Gotta be careful how. Next hurdle is going to be gauges. This is a piece I took out of the dash. I'm going to mount 3 gauges. This one's really, really dirty. We're going to clean that up though. But I'm going to use this as a template. It's just one of those hose clamp covery looking things. Just about the right size. We might have to go a little bit bigger, since I'm going to be tracing out around it. I think this will be pretty good. So I'm going to put this even with this line, or this heavier plastic right here. So I'm going to put this here. Can't hardly see that. That's awesome. Oof, it's not even round. My hand is in the way. And we're going to put this one as centrally located as possible. Alright. Now that I can barely see that, the idea is to find a hole saw just about the right size, and we'll put it in there. I may ruin this piece, but I don't think it'd be too hard to make something like that out of metal. And if so worse comes to worse, if I break this, I'm just going to make it out of metal. And we'll go from there. Well, let's see how badly I destroy this thing. Smells like burned plastic. We'll have to clean it up a little bit. Let's see if that hole works. This is probably the easiest one to test, so let's try this one. These are just random gauges that I had laying around. I've got a really nice set, which I'm saving for another project, which may never get finished. Ooh, that fits just right. Sort of. Well, we might have to finish it up just a little bit. I think what it's hitting actually is... No? Nope. I don't know what it's hitting something. We'll just have to file that hole out a little bit. I think we'll be fine. The only thing is, I do believe the other gauge, one of the other gauges is a little bit bigger. So we'll have to see about that. We'll probably have to tailor these holes a little bit. Like that one's going to have just a tiny bit of work done to it. Maybe if I just take these rough edges, we'll be fine. So let's cut the other two holes and see if I haven't destroyed this thing or not. So let's go with this one. Get it going real fast, it starts to melt things. Should probably pull the old one out of the drill so that I don't have that in there. I love that about hole saws. They tend to get hung up in there, and then you got to wrestle with them to get them out. Last one, we're going to try to center it as much as I can. Just going to eyeball it. There we go. Well, there we go. We got them mounted in there. Just going to have to put the backs on them now and then mount them into the car. Still got the two broken mounts here and then the two screws that hold it in there. Hopefully this will just fit flush with whatever it is this joins to. So We might have to drill some more clearance or cut some more clearance, but that's the way it's going to be. For a quick recap, what we got done today is we got our throttle done. Wabba! Wabba! And look, woohoo! Got my fan in there. My fan that didn't work, even though it worked because my jumper wires were all bad. So we got that in there. So yeehaw, it's not wired yet, as we can tell. Yep, not wired yet. But I also got busy inside. As you know, while I did the wiring, I mean all the gauges, we got all the gauges. They're not in yet, they're gonna go right there, which you can't see. And, oh, look what I got. I put a tack in. Let me get a light. There, now we can see the big hole? That's where this is all going. And then I got a tack in here, which you can't see now because my light is totally not good here. Well, that's terrible the way the lighting is. There we go, that's better. But I got a tack in there. It's not the best tack in the world, but that's all I got going on. I might replace that wheel before we go anywhere, but I got a bunch of wiring. We're going to have to wire those gauges up. We got to wire the tack up. I got to wire the fan up. I got to wire the ignition up. And I got to put my windshield wipers back together. So, that's where we're at. So next week, very exciting. Nope, not really. It's going to be all wiring. Woohoo! So you might not see that. I'll probably spare you all of that. But it's going to be about running next week. Got to get it running next week. So I don't know about you, but I'm tired. T-I-R-R-E-D. Tired. Tired. Yep, tired. It's a lot of the tedious stuff, you know. It's nice to have money. I could just go out and order some fancy fans to fit, and it comes with all the equipment to pop it in. But I don't go to that school because I'm just not a rich guy. And since the start of this channel, it's always been doing stuff on the cheap, right? So we're going to keep it on the cheap, and I'm trying to find stuff that I've had laying around. I have had that huge fan setup around for probably 20 years, I'm thinking. Maybe at least 20, I'm thinking. Maybe, yeah, probably 20. So I was pretty sure it worked, and so when I jumped it and it quit working, I was thinking, okay, I just burned it up. But then I tested some other fans, and they all tested bad. One of them I knew was good. So I'm like, Something Wang, you know that little Chinese guy, Something Wang? Yeah. So come to find out my jumpers were bad. Go figure. So I wasted a bunch, I mean a bunch of time just trying to get the fans to work when the whole time they worked. But it could have gone, you saw how much work it was cutting that up, and I had to do a little trimming, I had to create a little corner. I didn't show you all of that because that just gets crazy boring, and it takes a lot of time to set up the camera. So I apologize if you wanted to see how I modified that thing to work and to install it, but you've probably seen 6,985 billion people install fans. Right, so I spared you that. Now I'm going to do a bunch of wiring next week. Probably not going to show you that either, unless I get a bunch of people in the comments going, "No, I want to see you wire everything." Glutton for punishment, I'm telling you. Nobody ever shows wiring because it's just really boring. Now, if I was wiring up an EFI system, which I will be doing in another car, I'm going to wire up an EFI system, and I will go step by step on that simply because I've never done it before. So I'm bound to screw something up and, you know, make everybody else out there do the same mistake. Good like that. But I'm going to fumble through that, and so that way I can get people commenting like, "Hey, you're screwing up!" Yeah, probably are. But that's in the future. That's this car over here, which you can't see, but it's the Javelin. But for now, the Gremlin, she's about ready. I'm almost willing to bet the carburetors are at least going to have to take the front bolts off.
I'm not too worried about that because I can do that right on the car. I'm going to go ahead and pour some gasoline in it just because I'm a glutton for punishment. Yep. And watch them leak all over the place and start a fire. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to try to fire it. I'm going to turn the fuel pump on and check for leaks. If they don't leak, well, then I might try to fire it up. If they leak, well, we'll stop and fix the leaks. But next week is going to be, will it run? We're going to see if after all this work, it'll run. I've got, gosh, it's been a lot of work. I've spent 2 full weekends getting to where we are. Last weekend I didn't make the video because I had one left over already. And I was just doing a bunch of small stuff, which I showed you in this video, what I got accomplished. But the little stuff takes forever. And it's boring. So I spared you all that. Now, if you're like, well, no, we wanted to see all that. Well, all right, fine. Hit it in the comments saying next time, because there'll be next time on the next 2, 3, 4, 5 bazillion cars that I'm going to build in my lifetime, because I'm going to live to like 112, I think. But, you know, just let me know if you want to see more. If you like the fact that I'm skipping over and just getting to the highlights, then go with that. I notice a lot of other YouTubers do that. They don't sit there and go step by step by step by step. And, you know, some people like that. If I'm doing a how-to video, I'll go step by step. But in this car, there's nothing how-to about this because it is all about making parts fit. Nothing fits the way it's supposed to fit. There is no going to the parts store and buying a water pump for this car. There's no going to the parts store and buying pulleys for this car. There's no buying a throttle bracket for this car. There's none of that. You have to make it. There's no radiator bracket. There's no radiator shroud. There's no fan. There isn't any parts store parts you can just buy for this car. Everything had to be made and or modified. So if you decide to take on a project like this, well, God bless you. It's fun. I like it, but it doesn't make a whole lot of good YouTubing, I guess. But, you know, if you do like to watch fabrication and making things fit, rock on. You're in my boat. But we're going to get this car done. We're hopefully going to get it running next weekend because the weekend after that, I have to get it down to, well, no, next weekend, I have to get it down to volunteer muffler, get the exhaust put on. Otherwise, I'm going to the show open hitters. Yay, right. And I don't really want to do that. I'd like to get and I don't even know if he can do it next week. I'm going to try. I'm going to give him a call. Hopefully he can. That's pretty much it. So, enough talking for now. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Most of all, tell your friends, watch the videos, watch the commercials. I know that's really weird, but the commercials is how I survive. You know, every time you watch a commercial, I make like 3/4 of a penny. So, actually, I think it's 37 cents for every 1,000 commercials people watch. So that's not even a fraction of a penny per view. But if you watch the commercials, it helps me out. Just gotta watch like a bazillion of them. But anyway, thank you for watching. Tell your friends. See ya.